Right, thanks for staying with us on BizTalk. If you have any comments, you can email us at biztalk@bernama-tv.com, or you can tweet us at biztalk502, or you can call us right now at 0326937008. Right, with me, I have Yang Berbahagia TANSRI NAVARATNAM, the chairman of ASLI on the Centre of Public Policy Studies. Right, before we went for a break and before we took the phone call from TANSRI Robert Pang, we were talking about poverty group, which we need to look upon going towards 2020, where Professor Farida gave a very good comment, which not only in the rural areas, we do have poverty in the urban area as well. Your comment, Tansri?
I think it's this question of urban poverty is very serious.
Yeah, it is.
Because a lot of migration from the rural areas, Malays largely, Chinese and Indians who are here in any case, and that is causing serious problems. That is part of the problem of crime, the rise in crime. People are unemployed, unsuitable for employment, say from estates, the fragmented estates. And from an narrow economic point of view, it was okay. From a socio-economic view, it was a failure.
Right.
The estates broken up, the guys didn't know what to do. They had free housing, water, electricity, and also with a lot of Malay farmers and fishermen who got displaced, and Chinese. They come to the towns and what do? So their children drop out of school, the communities are affected by all kinds of social problems, and some of them given accommodation in hovels, some squatters, and so it's a serious problem.
So how do we address this?
The thing is training again, education.
Yes.
If they can become simple, technical types, plumbers, electricians, bricklayers, they can learn, but they don't learn the trades in school.
Right.
Everybody's taught the same thing, to be academic. But how many of them really need to be academically trained?
Right.
They need good literacy, but even that we have failed because we have our scores are very poor by international comparison.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Right.
In terms of maths, in terms of language skills, in terms of science, we score lowly.
Right.
So how can these people learn some technical jobs even on the job?
Right.
And the discipline, I'm told by employers, is sad. They come to work for 1 or 2 days and run away. That's why they're employing immigrant workers. They say at least these chaps, they know what it is to struggle. They're not pampered, Manja-manja sama dia, macam itulah.
Okay.
So, the problem is unemployment, underemployment. And if we don't address this, the lower 40% of our society, we are in for difficulties. I would even go to say, so far as to say, we might be heading for some social unrest.
Right.
This is why it's so important that you have structural changes as compared to Pemandu looking at projects, moving private investment, benefiting the well-to-do, and not getting down, because these projects are so sophisticated now that they are no more labor-intensive.
Right.
So you need professional types, highly skilled types. But if you don't make it attractive for them here, they are going abroad.
Yes.
And so we have a brain drain. At the same time, we want to push our frontiers. So we are really having problems.
Yes.
But as I said, to answer your earlier question, this year, fine. Next year, also fine. Beyond that, unless we show real signs of seriousness and sincerity in structural change,
Yes.
we can face problems which might delay the achievement of industrial status by 2020.
Right. And on the phone right now, we have Datuk Jega from Kuala Lumpur. Hello, Datuk Jega?
Yes, dear.
Hi.
Yeah.
Like to speak to Tansri?
Yeah, hello, yeah, okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Tansri, also knows me, as he knew Tansri Robert Pang.
Okay.
And we're actually very honored to have him on TV.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tansri, just a few issues.
Yep.
That perhaps you may wish to, consider, Tansri. And now, Malaysia now actually has become really a great example to many of the developing countries of the world, okay? And as you know, I've been involved in the kind of thing in Africa and others. one of the messages we are trying to give the world is this, that from the early days after, May 13, when we from ground zero, we shot up, and become in 10 years a brilliant economy. Message we gave the world was, government has no business to be in government. Government has no business to be in business. Government must be in the business of creating the environment and let private sector flourish. This was the call we made about after May 13, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and we started encouraging private sector. We grew so fast. Are we going against that now, against the trend? Is government now increasingly becoming involved in business, or government GLCs, and are they taking away opportunities from private sector who could have done? This is the first question, okay? The second question, TANSRI, is this. And the question is, you talk about structural change. Everybody talks about it. Now, the question is now, can we exactly say what? Okay, now we are private sector. You also private sector. I'm also private sector. Also Maida. Can someone advise the government what kind of structural change that should take place? For example, simple example. You mentioned earlier now the fact that we have got all these big projects going on and all this. Fantastic. No one can take away from that. The question is there a trickle-down effect? Are the poor benefiting from all the major projects? Of course, many of them are getting jobs, okay? But how come there is this pervasive discontent that appears to you? Talked about it, everyone is talking about it. Why is that? How come we've got 2 million or odd foreign workers in Malaysia, yet Malaysians are unemployed? How is that? It's a very funny situation, okay? Should we then, TANSRI, as part of structural change, talk about, look at Singapore. Singapore is building roads. Hong Kong is building roads. All the guys are building the same thing. But they're doing it by paying higher wages, Should we then bite the bullet on this? Pay higher wages and force our private sector to start going more technology intensive, and using more the brain power rather than sheer labor power to get things done, you see. And then we raise the income level of the poor. Okay. Should this be one viable strategy?
Right, okay.
Then we struggle. Okay.
All right, thank you, Datuk Jega. Thank you so much for your input. Right, 2 questions.
I think this is becoming a friendly chat here. Another good friend of mine. He has done a great deal at Maida and all that.
Right,
and
okay.
He knows what he's talking about.
His first question was, okay, is the government going against what they used to do? Now they're more into business and letting the private sector taking care of the business. What do you think?
This has been a bogey with government. Partly it's because of the way they looked at the NEP. The new economic model was really recommended to government, and government accepted it but did not implement it. That's another big problem.
Yes.
If you use the old ideas of the NEP, we're not going to go far. That is why you have so much of government participation in business. All we got to do is adopt a new economic model which encourages competition, prepares Bhumiputras through a good education system. Again, we come to that. Make them competent, and I know a lot of Malay friends who are really good.
Right.
Top class universities, top class colleges, high performance. But if I was one of them and I knew I had a nice clear path ahead, I don't have to struggle for it.
Right.
I will get spoiled. Ini manja-manja lah. So I don't think government is adopting the right. They are not fair to them also.
Okay.
If I was a Bhumiputra, I'm good, and if I'm qualified, I'm really good. Why should I give the impression or others feel that I'm not good, that I need to be helped?
Okay.
It's a psychological problem,
Right.
Doesn't encourage them to compete. In the longer term, they may lose out, and government is really spoiling a whole generation again and again.
Right.
So I agree, government should not be in business to do business.
Right.
Not be in the business or doing business.
Okay.
Right?
Right. Before we go to the second question, we need to go for a break, our last break. And when we come back, we'll go to a second question from Datuk Jega. So stay here on BizTalk.